What's up, y'all? Um, Anybody that gets on here, whoever's first to get on here, um, just let me know if you can hear me. Okay. I got a new phone, like I said I was going to, and I've been having a problem with covering up my mic or my speaker with my hand. So I'm doing it with my Bluetooth, which I don't normally do. So, as you guys get on here, just let me know whether or not you can hear me, because that'll help me. So, anybody that's just catching this, let me know if you can hear me. Um, so, I'm going to go ahead and get into my intro. Anybody that doesn't know, I'm part of Breaking the Chains. And basically, we're just a nonprofit organization. And we try to help people who are struggling with addiction. We try to help them get some treatment. We also do charity events, fundraisers. And we collaborate with Midshore Restoring Hope in Women. And so anytime you see us do an event or sell T-shirts or anything like that, that's where all the money goes. In case you're wondering. So now that that's out of the way, I also want to talk about the book giveaway. So we did a book giveaway for you guys. Um, Anybody dropping in, just comment and let me know if everything's fine with the video. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Blah blah blah. Um, but I'm gonna keep going. So Jewel and I, after we did our event that we had in August, we got on here and we did a book giveaway. Okay, cool. Um, like I said in the beginning of the video, I just got a new phone, and for some reason I keep like muffling my voice. I keep like covering up my speaker, so I'm doing it with my Bluetooth so I can avoid that. I'm not a phone guy, so I have no clue where my speaker is or my mic or any of that shit. Um, but anyway, so we raffled off some literature, and I mean, you guys might be upset, but you'll get over it. So we raffled off some literature, and after we did it, we realized we were flawed in our system. So we did it based on like pick a number, and after thinking about it, I was like, we did a watch party, and I was like, how are we gonna know, who picked what number when and all that type of stuff. So it got real confusing trying to figure out who gets what. So I'm gonna talk to my partner Jewel, and I'm gonna ask her if she wants to redo it. So I want to redo it, and the reason why I want to redo it is because I feel like a better way to do it is to, um, you know, have do the live video, and anybody that's interested in the literature, have somebody say interested, and have you put the title of the book that you want. We'll drop the titles down in the comments, and you can like it and say interested, and write the title of the book with your interested comment, and we can just do like pots and write all the names down for each book and throw them in there, and then do a random drawing. And I feel like that way it's a lot easier, it's a lot clean. I just feel like it makes it a lot simple for us and a lot more simple for you, because I don't want to have, say the number was 35 and I got 5 people that were 35, and I give the book to A, and B comes along and says, hey, I picked that number too, how come I didn't get it? Because I have no way of telling when the comment came in, especially when you do a watch party. So I think the easiest way is to do a name drawing. So I haven't forgot about you guys. You're still going to get your book. We're just going to do it a different way, and we're just going to have to redo it. I just got back. I've been traveling. I've been on the road, and I just got back to Houston. So when I get stable, I will get with her and we will do it. We will advertise it 24 hours beforehand, and then we will go ahead and do the live, and then we'll leave the video up for 24 hours, and then we will go ahead and do the drawing on a separate video. So I just wanted to let you guys know I didn't want to leave you hanging. I always try to stick to my word and be a man of my word. So if I say I'm going to do something, I want to follow through with it. But it's just been crazy. It's been busy. We had the event. It was a success. We raised some money. We got to hear some good stories. We had somebody that we actually got in contact with from the Clean and Sober group that actually drove from New Jersey to come to our event. So that just kind of blew me away. That somebody from this group actually came and supported and shared they also shared their story. So that was cool too. And we had some local people share their stories as well. Um, we had a mom who lost her family to a drunk driving car accident. So we got like stories from all sides. And it was good to see the community get together and do stuff like that. Okay, so the real topic and why I'm here. So today I'm going to discuss the relationship between fitness and recovery. Um, you might see a lot of people that they get into recovery and they start to become like workout warriors, and they get all about lifting weights and eating healthy and working out. And I'm going to explain to you not only why, but why I feel like it's beneficial. Now, for me personally, I was into working out before I decided I wanted to get sober. So even all through my drinking, I still worked out. Obviously, I'm much more dedicated now. I work out a lot harder now. I'm a lot more consistent now, but I've always worked out since like the end of high school. When I was in high school, I was like 310 pounds. I was way, way overweight. Um, and I decided I wanted to lose weight, and I kind of never looked back since then. Um, but there was times where I would go. I would drink a lot, beer, and I would gain some weight. My weight would balloon up to like 240 or 250, and then I'd lose it again. And anybody that's a drinker like I was, they know that's part of the territory. Um, when you drink, especially when you drink beer, you're gonna gain weight. Um, when I was younger and I was drinking more liquor, so I was actually losing weight because I wasn't eating and I was only drinking. Because I was the type of guy that I didn't want to eat. All I wanted to do was get drunk and drink, and I felt like that um, if I ate, it would get in the way of drinking. So that was kind of the fucked up mentality I had when I was younger and I was partying. Um, so for me, I drop it into my videos every once in a while where I talk about. Um, to me, fitness is, I look at it like cheap therapy. So when you get into recovery, you start to open up all this baggage that you were carrying throughout your addiction that you just kind of like covered up. You know, maybe shit you went through as a kid, or shit you did throughout your addiction. Once you get sober and you get clean, all that shit starts to surface, and you have to emotionally deal with it. Um, and you can get on this emotional roller coaster ride where you're angry about your past, and you're depressed about maybe your current situation. You're frustrated, and you feel guilty, and you got all these negative emotions. And if you don't find a healthy outlet to deal with those emotions, you're probably not going to last too long as far as your recovery journey goes. um, and for anybody that doesn't know, I'm not just saying fitness is the only way and that's the only outlet. I'm just saying it's one of the many outlets that I use. I also write stuff down. um, I'll write, and it's like an escape for me. So I write a lot. um, I talk to my the people that are closest to me. If I really cannot get over it by myself, I'll talk to somebody that's close to me. But 99% of the time, I work out, and that's like all I need. You know, um, it's just it's hard to explain. I might have a bad day, or I might be going through a tough time period, and I'll get in the gym, I'll put my music in, and I'll just bust my ass. And when I walk out, I promise you, it's like I forgot. I forget all about it. I feel like happy, energized, uplifted, motivated, accomplished, all at the same time. So you can take all those negative emotions that you're feeling, and you can turn them into something positive by going into the gym and just kind of flipping the script, and you walk out, you feel good about yourself because you're doing something that's beneficial to you. um and for me, it's not, I'd be lying if I said like, oh, I don't work out to look better, or I don't. I do, because being somebody that was so overweight for so long, I was self-conscious about my appearance. And so now that I'm not as self-conscious about my appearance, it makes me feel good to see myself differently, so it's part of it. But for me, it's probably 85 to maybe more. It's mental for me. um like all that anxiety, depression, stress, whatever, I leave all that shit in there, and when I walk out, that shit's gone. um and anybody that works out or whatever, if you agree, or if it works for you, just say you agree, or it helps you too. But if you're somebody who is looking for a new outlet and you don't have an outlet, and you need one, I would suggest making fitness part of your recovery journey, because it helps, and it's not gonna hurt you at all. It's nothing that's gonna hurt you. um so I just feel like it works for me. If you're going through a tough time, I would suggest maybe doing something different in your recovery. Freshen it up. A lot of us, we can hit that stale period in our recovery. I feel like it probably happens to everybody, where something traumatic might happen to you, and or it might not. It doesn't always have to be trauma. That's one of the like narratives that I get kind of tired of hearing, is like, and this will open up a whole different thing, but I'm not gonna get into it. It's just like, it's always like, I don't like the poor me soapbox shit. You know what I mean? We've all had a lot of devastating shit happen to us in our lives. Some of it's our fault, some of it's not. Um, but if you look for an excuse to use or get high or drink or whatever, it's not that hard. You can find one. Whether you got to dig in your past or stay in your present, you can find one. If you're going through a tough time, though, being serious and, directly talking to you, try something different. Do something different in your recovery. Step outside of your box. You might come across something that might kind of rekindle it, or respark it for you. Because I'm gonna tell you, like, straight up, a lot of people relapse just strictly off of boredom. So a lot of us grew up in small towns, or back road communities, or little tight knit communities, and for a lot of us, drinking was recreational. It was just something to do. It was like a rite of passage, and then it turns into using drugs, and it goes on from there. So I understand how you feel, and we all go through tough times. Um, I'm not, I'm not sure exactly what your tough time is, but if you don't want to share it on here, I always say you can inbox me, send me a friend request, whatever. I will try to, hear you out and help you the best I can. I always say too, there's no cure, there's no right answer. It's just a matter of advice, and you do what you want with it, and it's all subjective. You know what I'm saying? Some shit works for one person, but it don't work for the next guy, or the next girl, or whoever. Um, but yeah, I'm just kind of talking about how. Plus, like with fitness, it's like, in order to have a healthy recovery, you need to go in the opposite direction of what you were doing in your past. So, like, when you're using drugs and you're drinking, what are you doing? You're not being healthy. You're poisoning your system. You're poisoning your body. Most of us are lazy. Like, that's our life revolves. It's all about getting fucked up. Um, some of us kept jobs to make, to fund it. Some of us did crimes. Some of us did whatever, but all we really focused on was, when can we get fucked up again? And the whole time you're using, you're killing yourself, whether you realize it or not. Um, I don't like to be all doom and gloom, and you know what I mean, but it's a fact. You are killing yourself. You're poisoning your body, and you're doing irreversible damage. I don't know if you guys realize that shit or not, but don't think just because you're young and you're in your 20s, that I'm all right. You know, I can handle it. I'll get clean and sober later. Number one, it might not be a later. You don't know what's gonna happen because of your use or your drinking. And number two, you're doing damage to your body right now. You know, you're shaving years off your life. Every time you use or you get drunk and you drink, you know, bottles and bottles and gallons and cases, you can go ahead and just shave some time off your life. You do that shit long enough and, you know, you're burning it at both ends. And eventually you're going to run out of space. And, you know, my mom was living proof of that. She got clean, still died early, 49 years old. I never imagined that I would lose my mother at 49 and she be clean. You know, I thought my mom was going to die for years, but I thought she was going to overdose, uh, get in some shit and get killed or something like that. I didn't expect for her to get clean and still die young. And to me, 49 is young. In 2019, you're just hitting the halfway point. Um, so it's and the reason why she died, in case you're wondering, it was from long-term drug use, complications from long-term drug use. So, you know, don't waste any time. There's a lot of like corny cliches, like, you know, treat your body like a temple and all this type of stuff, but these quotes don't exist just for the fuck of it. You know what I'm saying? They exist because there's truth in them. And to me, after years of abusing my body, my liver, my brain, you know, um, my whole body, my whole system. You know, how damaging do you think it is to not eat and just drink? It'll kill you, and you're causing irreversible damage. So to me, being sober, something that helps me is like just going the complete opposite. So I try to eat healthy. I try to work out, um, set goals for myself to keep me occupied. And that's another thing, not just from a health aspect, but just to keep you occupied, just to give you something to do, to burn off some energy, to burn off some steam, you know. Um, and like I said, when you're young in recovery, when you're new to it, it's a frustrating time period. You know, it can be stressful. It can make you angry because you now realize, like, damn, you know, I fucked my life up, and you have to sit with it. And I feel like that's why there's so many chronic relapsers. A lot of people will say, you know, like, if you relapse, you just don't want to get clean and sober. Like, yeah, but that's not true. You know what I mean? Um, you want to get clean and sober the minute you acknowledge you have a problem and you want to change. You know? But it's hard because when you get sober, you're stuck with all this emotion and you don't know how to handle it. So you go back to what's comfortable. You go back to what's familiar to you. And, you know, we need some people in recovery need help snapping out of that and realizing that it's going to be a rough road in the beginning, but you just got to push through it, work through your emotions. You know, it's okay to feel. It's okay to feel like you're not good enough. It's okay to feel like, you know, you messed your life up. But now what are you going to do with those feelings? Are you going to run from them, or are you going to do something to change the narrative of your life? Because you have the power to. The same addicts and alcoholics you see share all these celebrity success stories are the same ones that are acting like their life is over because they got a felony. Hello, Sharon. You know what I mean? The same people. The same people who share these testimony videos about this guy who, lost everything and had nothing and went through all this shit, and then he owns this big company. Like, he's not special. We all have the same potential. We just lie to ourselves and tell us that I can only do this now because I messed up in the past. It's not true. There's a lot that you can do. And there's a lot you can do in the meantime until you get to where you want to be. And I know I'm kind of getting off topic, but, there's only so much I can say about fitness and recovery. I just feel like if you haven't tried it and you're struggling, or you haven't tried it and you're looking for something new to get into, I would suggest it. I feel like, it can only be beneficial. It's not going to hurt. You try it, it's not for you, so be it. If everything was for everybody, the world would be a boring place. So I'm not, not forcing you to. I'm not saying, this is the key. I have the magic key, because I don't. It's just something to try, just a tip. It works for me a lot. It helps me a lot. And everybody always says, don't knock something till you try it. If you haven't tried it, try it. Also, too, like I said in the beginning of the video or midway through, I'm always available. All right, so if anybody is, if you're ever going through something and you feel like, you don't have anybody to turn to, or you need something, or you just need to blow off some steam or whatever, you can always add me on my personal page. You can always send me a message. I might not respond to you right away, but I will respond to you. Okay? But like I've said in my past videos, if you're new to my video, you have to show the initiative. You understand what I mean? I'm not your parent. You're not my child. I'm not going to pry shit out of you. I'm not going to twist your hand. I'm not going to drag you. I'm only going to go in the conversation as far as you want to go. And I'm going to give you the advice that I think you should use. And if you don't try what I asked you to try, and you keep coming to me with the same stuff over and over and over and over and over, I'm going to run out of stuff to say to you. You understand what I mean? I've gave you the advice, and you've come to me with the same thing, and I've asked you, have you tried what I asked you to try? And you say, no. What can I do? What do you want me to do? The funny thing about recovery, and this is why accountability is so important, is it's only going to go as far as you go with it. So yes, we have a community. Yes, we have rehabs. Yes, we have all this stuff that is, other people helping you. But if you don't step up, if you don't take initiative, nothing's going to change for you. And that's important to know. Your recovery is your recovery. I don't know how many times I've said it. I don't know how many times people hear it. Your recovery is on you. At the end of the day, your recovery is on you. There's a lot of shit out there that can help you. But if people are giving you the information it's still up to you to do something with it. Hey, what's up, Riley? I'm good, man. Chilling. Just got done working out. Just trying to give some advice. But it's always, like I always say, man, everything is subjective. Life is subjective. That's the beauty of it, you know. It's I feel like nothing is really concrete in life. Everything's like just depends on how you look at stuff, depends on who you are as a person, depends on what you're willing to try, how far you're willing to go. And that's kind of what, now that I'm getting older, that's kind of what I like about life. You can always turn a channel, you can always do something different. You can always change your story. If you're living a life you're not proud of, there's always things you can do to change that. If you're struggling in a certain area, there's always something you can do to fix it, to improve. I'm 30. I don't know about y'all, I'm 30. And there's a lot of stuff that annoys me about this generation. But what's so great about this generation is we have an abundance of information. We have access to so much shit. And a lot of people from the 30 and older crowd will say, "Oh, it's what's wrong with the world." But I think it's great. But it's one of those things, like I said, it's all subjective. How do you use it? Me being me, I choose to use it by filling my head with stuff that I feel like makes me a better person. Hello. You're late. I'm about to wrap this shit up. So just keep that in mind. And it upsets me when somebody reaches out to me and I feel like I'm doing them a disservice and I can't help them. Like I'm giving them information and I'm telling them stuff to try, things to do, and I feel like it's falling on deaf ears or it's not working. And of course, when you're on social media, a lot of people you're never gonna see because as far as like face to face in real life. So it makes it hard. It's not like it's somebody up the street that I can go up the street and sit down with them and shoot the shit for a couple hours and find out where their head's at. And it frustrates me when I can't help people. I can't help everybody. And I don't know about any of you, but this is the field that I'm in. So this is, where I'm at. I don't know where everybody else is. But if you ever get in the business of trying to help people, you need to understand something. Don't pick their baggage up. You know what I mean? Like it's not your responsibility to save them. Because you can never, the old thing, we have free will since the beginning of time, depending on what you believe in and whether you believe in the Bible or God or not. We do have free will, so it's irrelevant what you believe. That's still true. Um, you can't force anybody to do anything. And we all know that, going through childhood, if somebody forces you to do something, it don't mean it's not genuine. If it's not genuine, then you're going to eventually revert back to what you want to do anyway. You have to make the choice to want recovery and want to get clean, want to get sober. And then you have to make the choice to take advice from people and do what's necessary. And to me, if you hit your bottom, you'll do whatever you need to do to get clean and sober and stay that way. So when you go to somebody, don't go to somebody looking for an answer that you already have in mind. Go to somebody being open to what they're telling you to do. If you're not willing to try almost anything when you go to somebody for help, then you're going to sell yourself short. And, you could always seek out a wide scale of people. Don't just ask one person in your circle for help, or one person that, you see that you think could help you. Don't just ask one. Go around and ask all of them collectively. Put the answers together and figure out what you want to do. But don't just do nothing. So many people do that. They just do nothing. Nobody's going to walk up to you and wave a magic wand and your life's going to be all better and you're not going to want to use or drink anymore. It's going to be up to you. And you got to make sure you're doing it for you because you want to. I've talked about before, when I first got sober, I did it for my daughter. 2 weeks before she was born, I got sober and stayed sober for almost 2 years. Just about. But it didn't last forever because I never made the transition of doing it for me. And those people that you're doing it for are not going to be with you every single day, 24/7, to remind you of why you're doing what you're doing. I had to learn that, my daughters don't just deserve a sober father. I deserve a sober me because I'm better when I'm sober. I accomplish more when I'm sober. I'm nicer to people when I'm sober. I don't get in trouble when I'm sober. I think twice before I do something when I'm sober. I don't go out looking to make enemies when I'm sober. I don't go out trying to prove to everybody that I'm a badass when I'm sober. I don't befriend fake people when I'm sober. And I deserve all that shit. And so do you. But you gotta wake up to that. You gotta realize that. A lot of us don't realize that we matter. A lot of us don't value ourselves. And that's where we mess up the most. Because we look at ourselves as less than, and that's something that's kind of funny and ironic in the recovery community. Everybody gets so pissed off about all the people who bash addicts, but it really doesn't hold a flame to the way we truly see ourselves deep inside most of the time. And we got to change that. You got to change that. Because if you truly are confident in yourself and you feel good in what you're doing, all that outside shit won't even bother you. It won't even come across your radar. Because you'll be so focused on making your life better and climbing up that ladder to a better life that you will not give two shits about them people. You won't have time to even pay attention to it. So that's all I got for y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Anybody that found this useful, go ahead, share it out if you want. If not, don't. I think I saw something where somebody said Facebook changed their shit where if you talk about sharing it out in your video, they'll like hide your video or some shit. I don't know. I don't care. Um, what's important enough is you people watching right now saw it, so that's good enough for me. Um, but yeah, I don't care if you do find it useful, go ahead and share it out. If you're watching the replay, just put in the comments replay, and if you got anything you need from me, just inbox me or put it in the comments, and I'll respond to you. Um, so I hope y'all have a good night. Stay clean, stay sober.